Episode 9 is set to not only connect to the prequel trilogy and the original trilogy by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio, but also to the hit TV series Star Wars Rebels. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, one thing that a lot of people are really looking forward to seeing in this film is, of course, exactly how this movie is going to cater to all different mediums of this franchise that is so large when it comes to not just TV series, movies, but also video games, comics, books, novels, you name it. There's a lot of canon material as well as Legends material out there that JJ will be using and implementing into this movie. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film when it comes to some of the set leaks, the set designs, the concept art and storyboard descriptions, etc. One of which has all to do with a huge hint and or indicator of a major connection to Star Wars Rebels involving Rey and R2-D2. Specifically, a description of Rey with R2-D2 by her side to be on a short-term mission in the Outer Rim. It's described that Rey and R2 are standing in the middle of nowhere on sand and looking out into the distance at a large city where the buildings appear to be made of glass with the sun reflecting off it. It's also described that there are grassy plains on each side of Rey and R2. The structures of the buildings are described as very tall and skinny and ranging many different heights. It's also said that this planet has a big connection to the hit animated TV series, Star Wars Rebels. It's implied that Rey is looking out to Capital City on the planet Lothal. The last goes over a front shot of Rey with R2-D2, where a new ship design is seen that is similar to an E-Wing behind her and likely Rey's new starfighter that will be used in the film. So I really want to go over a couple of parts about this that are getting me very excited and intrigued about this movie. We do know that J.J. Abrams plans to really bring in a lot of connections to this movie, to the prequels and the originals, and also Star Wars Rebels. And this would most certainly explain that one big connection for Star Wars Rebels. Not only little callbacks here and there for Ahsoka Tano and Ezra Bridger on and off throughout the story from start to finish, but also a planet. Now, note the mention of the Outer Rim. Now, the Outer Rim is an actual place within the actual Star Wars galaxy, and within that Outer Rim, there's actually a planet called Lothal. Now, what's really intriguing to me is how she's looking out to a city with R2-D2 at what most definitely is Capital City. Now, this actual planet has a connection to Star Wars Rebels, and through all the different descriptions, this sounds more and more like it's going to be Lothal in Episode 9, and could very well be the reason as to why, with the leaked photographs that we saw during the summer of 2018, as to why we saw both Poe and Finn on top of horses on a grassy world. Now, a lot of parts of Lothal have a lot of grass. I don't know if you guys saw the episodes, but there's a lot of grass on that world, as well as prairies and, of course, mountains and whatnot. It's a very interesting planet. It is very Earth-like, if you will. And Capital City, I gotta say, if this does end up being just like how it was in the Star Wars Rebels TV series, it's going to be massive. It's going to be a big part of the story from what it seems. It's going to be a cinematic masterpiece of a scene that J.J. Abrams is most likely going to pull off correctly, and hopefully here will actually make it feel true to the actual hit TV series Rebels. So when we look at Rey and R2, we do know that these two characters will be spending a lot of time with each other in this film, as opposed to BB-8, which I honestly think is a great move. I think that a lot of people were complaining that the droids did not really get a whole lot of screen time in the sequels. It felt like that they were pretty much being, pretty much kicked onto the side. And that's exactly what I felt like in The Last Jedi and The Force Awakens. Now, in Episode 9, JJ is focusing on R2-D2 as one of the primary characters that will be involved with the major characters like Poe, Finn, and Rey. BB-8 seems like a character that will actually go off with other characters, maybe one of the new ones for all we know. There's a lot of possibilities out there. Now, apparently BB-8 in the film does have a sidekick called Dio in this movie, so there's a lot of things really, being implemented into this film in order to make it feel different. So, the next thing that I do want to go over is the mention of the starfighter design behind her that looks similar to that of an E-Wing. Now, we've been hearing about this for the longest time now, that she will be using her own starfighter in space toward the very end of the film in the third act, where she goes up against the First Order. So that whole entire sequence there, I believe that this is the same exact starfighter that will be used in the actual space sequence that we see on this mysterious planet that has a huge connection to Star Wars Rebels, which most likely is going to be the planet Lothal. Again, like I say, everything really fits together here. You know, the mention of, you know, a lot of grassy plains on each side of Rey and R2, a large city where each building is very tall and skinny and ranging different heights. You know, you can just imagine that this most likely is going to be Lothal in this movie, and the fact that this planet is based within the Outer Rim, and how this planet is connected to Star Wars Rebels. This has got to be Lothal in Episode 9. So I gotta give JJ a lot of credit because he's really trying to reach out to all fans, right, on different mediums of this franchise, whether you're into the video games, the comics, the books, the novels, the TV series, the movies, etc. You know, this movie really is going to be a movie that really does gravitate toward a lot of other fans around the world. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.